episode. I'm your host, Alia, and I'm a success and mindset coach. And I'm on a mission to help ambitious women to set goals that align with their souls so they can overcome procrastination and move forward to achieve their goals in life. You can join me and take the first step into taking care of yourself at draliamajid.com/coaching. Now I'm giving away a once in a lifetime early bird offer until 31st August. So be sure to check them out. Okay, back to today's episode. So, how often do you take time for yourself? This is quite a question that we get, yeah, especially when you're a mom or dad. We sometimes feel guilty to take time for ourselves. Let me share with you guys my experience that recently happened just last 2 weeks. Actually, I had a breakdown and I cried almost every day, and it's quite it's not easy for me to acknowledge this in front of everybody here in this podcast. But yeah, the truth is that I do not know how to get better. My emotion have been building up and um, so many negative thoughts came back to me because I don't know, maybe because of this situation that we're in right now. So yeah, there were so many things that bothering me. There's so much going on in my life, and with the fact that we kind of just moved back to Malaysia from Japan, and this is happening really fast for me, and this happened during a pandemic. So uh, I feel like I haven't given enough time to actually transition my mind, body, and soul back in Malaysia. That kind of feeling. It's like maybe my mind or maybe my heart, I don't know, still in my previous home, which is in Japan. And this transition is it's quite hard for me. And I have been feeling this emotion, and I didn't know how to let it out. And I know this pandemic has been so hard to everybody too. I know I should be grateful that I still have my family, house, and food to eat. And I'm totally grateful for all of that. I cannot imagine people that suffering so much more than me right now. Um, So I'm just grateful for the simple act of having a cup of nice hot coffee in the morning without having to be facing rush hour as we used to be when we were back in Japan and commuting to work and so on. I am totally grateful, especially because I actually love being at home, being an introvert person like me. So this is actually my space of comfort. So I really love being at home. But to tell you the truth, there's something just was not quite right. I get really agitated easily with everything, and I cannot see any good in everything that I'm encountering. And these negative feelings and emotions and thoughts came up often. I I I don't know what to do with them. I wish I could stop thinking negatively, or I wish I could stop overthinking. But at the end of the day, when I'm putting my head on my pillow, there's something bothering me. So maybe I'm still in shock with all the things that is happening around me, or maybe I just can't accept the reality that even though we are now home in Malaysia, safely back in Malaysia, part of me still feels that I'm living overseas, with the lockdown and whatnot, because we still cannot face each other and no interactions with the real people. All interactions is happening via the screen. And I'm really thankful, I'm really grateful for the you know, the technology that we have right now. And it's really easy to be connected with anyone, just via WhatsApp or Zoom. I have always lived with the philosophy that in hardship there's always ease. But somehow, a few weeks back, I just cannot see this anymore. I I broke down every so often, and I cried after prayer, asking to God, and I you know, remember asking my husband, what should I do? You know, and although I was trying to put strong face to show up for the business that I'm working on right now, and in front of my clients and in front of my friends, I just don't feel like myself sometimes, you know. So this is when I realized that I haven't been my authentic self for the past few, maybe few months, because everything that's happening around me, it's so fast. And you know, with the kids always being around, and me trying to build this business, and I'm struggling with, you know, I was having this, you know, repressed emotions over this whole time. And you know, but I'm grieving in some of the things that I lost in my life too. For example, maybe um, moving back from Japan, I kind of, even though it was our choice to move here, um, maybe the 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 environment that I used to live in, the freedom, or the you know, the that kind of lifestyle that used to live, now we cannot live like that anymore. So we kind of lost that lifestyle in just it's just kind of sudden. Although as much as we love Malaysia, but there's something about our lifestyle in Japan that we really like to incorporate them in our life in Malaysia. So that's why we try to make whatever adjustment that we can, so that we can still have that kind of lifestyle even though in Malaysia, because it has been becoming our identity, because we have been living there for in total for about 10 years. So yeah, I think it is kind of this sadness that I feel. I have been repressing it because maybe I couldn't share it with anyone, because I don't think that anyone could understand it. So I have been repressing my emotions this whole time, and I try to avoid this sadness, and then I kind of occupy myself, and I overwork since the last few months. I overwork, and although we're facing a really hard time right now, and with the kids being at home, with the pandemic still going on, I never really take it slow with my life, you know. The fact that I'm trying to build this business, so I have been waking up early, doing all of the things, and then sometimes sleep late at night. And although I always tell my clients to have a good routines, I'm not taking care of my own routine, you know. So I, although I try to protect my routine, I try to make sure that I don't overwork. But sometimes it's just so hard for me to stop working or stop overthinking about my work, um, and maybe overeating too. So yeah, I know some of us have been facing this kind of situation, because we want to repress our emotion, you know. We don't want to face the reality that we are facing sadness, we are grieving. And to keep us occupied, we do so many other things, and that in turn makes us more stressful, and our stress hormones becomes much higher, increases over time, and then uh, because of the current situation with the pandemic, uh, we cannot really remove it from our system without really taking it slow and give back the awareness that we have to take care of ourselves. So let's look at my life before this. Usually, before this, the kids would be able to go to school and kindergarten, and I would work and never bring back any work back home because I have that kind of strict policy. You know, I don't work at home. I'm even though I was struggling with my PhD. I'm trying my hard, um, trying my best to complete my PhD on time. Even though during the pandemic, even though it was a lockdown and the kids were at home, I tried my best so that I don't have to work so much when they are at home. But I know it is impossible because by being you have if you are working full time, you have to work full time, right? Because you are paid for that. So it is still hard for us try to figure out this thing. But the problem here is that we are not facing, the future will come when this situation will end. But for the meantime, we don't know how much longer we will be facing this situation. So how much longer should we postpone taking care of ourselves? So this is what the purpose of my podcast today is, like, should we delay taking care for ourselves for the sake of all of the works that have been piling up on us, or should we just take a break? This verse from the Quran is something that I always hold on to whenever I feel that I lost control of myself, of the situation, and out of control and so on. Because this really lifted me up, from the Holy Quran, Surah Ar-Ra'd 13. It's the verse 11. So the meaning of this ayah is that for his sake, there are angels following one another before him and behind him, who guard him by Allah's commandment. Surely, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change their own condition. And when Allah intends evil to a people, there is no averting it, and besides Him, they have no protector. Yeah, this ayat about does not change the condition of a people until they change their own condition is something that I hold on to, because in my line of work, in my coaching, I always say to my client, we cannot get a new result if we cannot get a new outcome if we are consistently doing the same thing, same behavior, same thing leads to the same outcome, the same result. So, for example, if you are being overworked and you when you stress about something, you work even more, and then um, with this overwork, you will facing burnout, and then you have much more stress in your life, and so on, and you maybe get sick because of that. And this is the result that we don't want to have in our life, right? We want to change that. So the only thing that we can do, I mean, at least for me, is that I have to stop overworking. I have to stop and really take time to take care of my own self. So before moving back to Malaysia, I have always taken time for myself. I like making exercise a priority, and spend many time replenishing myself with books or being in the nature. It is quite harder now, and this cycle of just putting myself last, have become, it was just a week, and then it becoming a month, and now several months have gone by, and then I realized I have not made time for my self-care anymore, and I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be the person who is stressful all the time, easily triggered with everything that's happening around me, and I cannot control my emotions because I am consistently burnt out and stressed. So I don't want to be that kind of person. So the only way to move forward is that I have to find a new behavior around this. I think parents, especially mothers, need time for self-care, and self-care is essential, and you have to do it anytime you needed it. Okay, there are many confusions around what is self-care, and honestly it doesn't only involve face mask or pampering or massage, just like that. According to Dr. Claire Nico Goshen, a clinical psychologist and author of the book Mama You Are Enough, she defines self-care as taking time to nurture yourself through activities which replenish energy and help manage stress. It is different than self-pampering, such as getting manicures, pedicures, taking baths, or having a massage are nice activities, but it is not self-care. Self-care is taking care of your physical, emotional, social, mental or cognitive, and spiritual parts of yourself. She sums it so well, and it made me realize that just self-pampering might not be enough for me. For example, if I take just, it is nice to take some time for face mask and maybe massage, but this is pampering myself, and it honestly it doesn't really replenish my emotion or physical, also, or spiritual parts of myself. This is good activities that we can do to pamper ourselves, maybe a way to reward ourselves for our hard work at the end of the day. But the true self-care lies when you are taking care of your physical, emotional, social, mental, and spiritual parts of yourself. So reflecting upon this meaning of self-care, I have taken little steps so that I can improve in all of these areas, for the sake of my own self-care. And with this confined situation that we're in, it is hard, it is hard to make self-care a priority, especially when you are a mom. But without bringing this awareness into our life, we can get thrown away with the fact that it's okay, life is okay, my needs are the last, everyone is the first. But you know uh, as the we always being reminded by the stewardess when we taken a flight. You have to put your oxygen mask for yourself first before you put on others, right? So this is what self-care is all about for me. So here I'm sharing some of the habits that small habits that I'm trying to improve now for the sake of my self-care. So the first thing that I try to improve is my physical state, because it is the easiest part. I think it is the easiest because you can see what you put into your mouth. So if you are eating junk food, then you feel, you know, sluggish. If you eat better, you'll feel better. So it is easy to take care of that part. Eat healthier, sleep enough, and move more. So it is hard for me to work out at home with the three kids all here, but I try to make sure I have enough steps throughout the day by counting the steps, so that I have this at least I move during the day, right? And then the spiritual part, I'm trying to wake up more for tahajud, and tadabbur Quran is a must for me. And we are trying to have a more family prayer. So this is really something that is helping me with my spiritual self-care. And I love that, when we do all of these things, when we have family prayers, I feel much better. To care for my mental health, I'm trying to limit reading the news. It's not like I avoid the reality that we're in, but sometimes it's just better for us to take a pause and for the sake of our own mental health. And instead I spend more time reading books, so it really helps to replenish my mental health. In the social part of the self-care is that I'm catching up with my friends from high school weekly over Zoom. So this is something that I really look forward to, and this really helps me to feel alive. And if you haven't done this already, try to do it. Try to catch up with your friends over Zoom, maybe after work. Catch up with some of your friends and do a group Zoom meeting, and just to catch up, just to catch up with what's going on with their life. And you feel much more alive talking with a person that really wants to know about how was your day, instead of just asking about have you finished your work. So maybe this kind of connection is something that we have to try to make more often, right? And then in the emotional part, it is something that I'm struggling with, and I don't know how to do this before, but as I'm learning throughout my coaching training, I'm learning how to express my emotions with appropriate tools. And the tools that I was using for my clients, I use that for me too, so that I learn how to express my emotions better at the right situation, instead of just blowing up and in front of the people. That is something that I don't want to be having. This really helps me getting better, instead of suppressing and repressing the emotions. And what we call is that this is the recycle of the emotions. When you try to suppress the emotion, but then the emotion came back again at the other places when the trigger happened. So the emotion came back. So it is uh, recycling of the emotion. So this is something that we don't want to face. So you want to remove the emotion by expressing it in a good way. So the way to do it is that you have to learn to accept this emotion as a natural response to the events that's happening in my life, in our life. And then I learn to expressing it in a way that it will not harm myself or others. So we have so many tools around how to express these emotions, and without losing control, without losing your own identity, without losing your job. So if you like to learn more about how to release your emotions so you could be the best version of yourself, you can book a free 30 minutes discovery call with me at draliamajid.com/coaching, so we can talk about what is the struggles that you are facing, what emotions came up, and then we can conquer that feelings, and express it and remove the feelings that you've been having, so that you can focus better, work better, and go after the life that you want. So back to my situation just now. After trying these some of the tools that I have been learning, I feel really much better, and I think people around me also notice the changes in me. I have stopped crying, or I am not triggered easily anymore. It is still a constant awareness. It is something that I have to be aware of, but it is not something that I couldn't control anymore. So if you are interested for that, you can book a discovery call. It's totally free for 30 minutes with me, draliamajid.com/coaching. And don't forget to join my free Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/empoweringwoman.my. So this is a free Facebook group for women, empowering women. It is called empoweringwoman.my. Uh, I have all the links in the show notes below if you want to check them out. And also keep in touch with me via Instagram at alia.majid. Share what self care means to you. See you next time. Assalamualaikum.